We know that the issue of abortion touches your nerves. 97% of women in Latin America live in countries where they could be put in a jail. Abortion is a reality. What happens, like it or not, there are abortions. The problem is that more than half of those who are made in the region are made in terrible conditions and putting at risk the lives of women who are generally scarce resources, live in the field and don't have access to education. And this is a reality that happens under our nose, and it is not a matter of but of millions. A good part of that suffering is because the laws put between a rock and a
Should abortion be legal? Or on the contrary, if it is believed in the right to life? In this issue, two kinds of arguments predominate. One, which could be called liberal, because it favors personal decision over any other value. And another, which can be defined as a conservative, because it seeks to maintain the status quo.
Despite the difficulties, a kind of middle group has been achieved in some countries where abortion is legal and only in two cases. For those who are in favor of abortion, this step is insufficient because it completely erases the possibility of the woman to choose whether or not she wants to carry a pregnancy to term that cannot be interrupted because it doesn't meet the requirements of the state. This is for the fetus or mother.
The most used argument to defend the practice of abortion is the one that affirms that the woman has absolute right to dispose of her body. The freedom of each person is invaluable, and therefore, if the woman doesn't wish to have a child even though she is already pregnant, the state should warrant to the right and provide the necessary care to carry out the abortion. You only have to think of a case of a mother of three who is the head of a family and that she can't financially support a fourth, or the woman who becomes pregnant in an abusive and violent relationship and who doesn't want to bring a child into the world, who grows up in the same circumstance, or who is still too young to face the shames of motherhood and doesn't have the financial infrastructure or emotional support to become a mother. All the above cases are valid, but they are not by the law of many countries.
Per year, according to the calculations, in Colombia there are clandestine abortion. In 2015, according to the data from Ministry of Health and Pro Familia, 24,641 legal abortions were performed. According to the expert, this figure is much higher. In reality, the record is precarious. The risky thing is that more than 103,000 Colombians have complications from clandestine abortions.
Do you know how many successful abortions are complicated? Less than 0.3%. Every year, an estimated 70 Colombians die from poorly done abortions. And this data is not a word, since we only talk about Colombian women. The WHO estimates that 25 million unsafe abortions take place every year. The vast majority of them in developed countries. The abortion rate is 37 per 1,000 people in countries that totally prohibit abortion or allow it only in case of risk of the woman's life, and 34 per 1,000 people in those that allow it in general. A difference is not significant. So, criminalizing abortion doesn't prevent it. It just makes it less safe. Allowing abortion would be respecting the freedom of each woman to dispose of her body and providing society with a respectful health system that puts the well-being of women as a
Another argument of those who are in favor of abortion speaks on the fact that fertilized embryo in the first stage of pregnancy still doesn't constitute a human being, but a group of cells, and therefore when deciding to interrupt the pregnancy, in reality isn't a being ending the life of a person. Here, the conversation acquires ontological levels because it begins to debate when life begins and when human beings become such. Some countries allow abortion before 12 weeks of gestation, and other countries.
On another side of the coin, those who are against abortions point out that the principle of life is more important than woman's right to dispose of her body. Since it is about protecting the life of a very helps. We return to the discussion of when the fetus is human being, but above all to put on a table that the rights of women are in the hands of the states.
We must ask ourselves why human rights, especially this very intimate and relevant one, are in the hands of the state. Do men have to ask permission to make free use of their body, or when has a man been seen suing the state for a vasectomy? Isn't it, to some extent, a life-threatening procedure? The standards by which the needs of men and women are treated different and morally.
To take a position on abortion, you have to first get informed. Abortions will continue to be an issue that will always generate confrontation between society, since it will create a division between its detractors and its defenders. But we must also think if we are not too far into history to have to put the private lives of women, their options, their preference, and their dreams under magnifying glass. Legislators don't have the right to decide what women want to do about a pregnancy, because each potential child that comes into the world brings the consequence of theirs that she doesn't want to bring the world to a child for whatever reason. She must be listened to and given the opportunity for this painful and emotional process to be carried out in a respectful environment where she feels that her voice accounts for her. Likewise, you also have to listen to the mother who, despite medical diagnosis, wants to carry a pregnancy that is considered risk to term. The key point of the discussion is to finally give women a voice.
You could be my partner, never riding solo. All we can do, I'm low-key, no need to party.